Hey guys, it's been a while since we've had an update on the old Liberty here, so the 2011 Jeep Liberty, started life, IFS in the front, solid rear axle, Chrysler 8 1/4 in the rear, and like a Dana 30 that was IFS version. So I decided that I wanted to play with my buddy Rob a little more, and the 30.5-inch tires weren't cutting it. So 2.5 years ago, we went down and found some Super Duty axles. Got those, a set of them, for like $500. And they sat in the back of the shop for a while. A couple months later, we had them built up. I'll show them to you, what we've done to them. But we got some trusses on there. We have a full hydro ram steering guard, and a whole bunch more. Some criteria I wanted. It's been years since I've gone wheeling at this point, 2+. And at the time, my buddy Rob was breaking things every time he went out, and I was pulling him out. And it was fun. It was always fun to watch. But that made some criteria for me. I wanted to have something robust because it's more fun to drive it than it is to fix it. There's fun in fixing it, but it's a lot more fun just to drive it. So that's why I went straight to 1-ton axles, not a Dana 44 or anything like that. Secondly, I went for 1-ton axles because they're much cheaper than something like a Dana 44 would be. They're highly sought after, and I don't understand why. Second, I wanted to do coilovers or an air suspension, and this is a little heavy for air suspension. It's right on the upper limit of like a 2-inch air shock, and so decided doing coilovers. And then initially I had planned on a 3-link in the front and a 4-link in the rear. That has changed, and we'll go over that. But this is 4-link front and rear now, mostly because of the packaging required for the full hydro steering. Okay, we're going to bring you in onto the front suspension, how we kind of figured that out. All right, so this is your Liberty engine bay, and that's the 3.7 in it. What's different are these giant towers on either side. These shock towers are made by CFM Industries, and they are meant for an XJ. These are an XJ coilover kit. Honestly, they are right above the previous McPherson strut, where the original McPherson strut used to be. So they're welded into the fender. You can see I have some patch panels in there, right there. I actually ran out of material. These towers are huge, but not enough material for the 14-inch coilover that I chose to put in this. You can see down here I've added some material, but there is a lot of surface area. There, you can see back here, there is a plate. That's where the upper arm used to be. And right there is where the other side of the upper arm used to be. So yeah, a lot of material in here, welded all over the place. And when this front end went down on the ground, didn't make a single noise. It was pretty nice to see. A lot of clearancing had to be done on the uniframe. You can see I got a big chunk cut out of there with a plate covering it. As far as subframe goes, there's more to be taken off, but as of right now, this is enough to be out of the way. A lot of cleaning up to do. Okay. Before I cut the subframe, I added this brace. This brace was here just to help stiffen help stiffen the two sides because that's what the subframe used to do. We'll hold it all together. So we bent this tube up and made a couple plates, and it's a bolt-in option, so I can pull that oil pan right out. We'll go over the links when I get underneath it, but you can see here that there has been a sizable chunk cut out of either side to clear the upper link, and I will explain to you how I managed a 4-link in this. Front axle, this is a Dana 60 out of an 05, 08, 07 or 08 Super Duty. Everything that's been added to it is Artec. This is an Artec truss and an Artec full hydro ram mount. It covers full width. It's a lot. There's a lot here, a lot of welding. I think I've covered this in a previous video, but you can see the ram sitting there ready to be installed. And we have Artec high steering arms as well. So it's a nice complete kit. All you have to do is add heims and some steel, and you're steering. I want to tie these two upper towers together. This fuse box, where this upper tower is, this is where this fuse box used to live. The plan is to somehow attach this fuse box to a cross member that will connect these two towers together. Steering. Basically, I got a special pump from PSC. It's a reverse rotation meant for this motor. It's like 4 times the cost of a regular power steering pump, but it bolts right in. So whatever that's worth to you. Came with a regular orbital valve you'd get on any other full hydro build. Plan on mounting that somewhere. Here's the back of the Jeep, all hogged out. Took the inner tray out and some of the side panels just for now. Back here, these are the Barnes Frenched coilover mounts, French shock mounts, I think they call them actually. And you can see that they kind of stick up a bit. It's about 9 inches from this crossbar to the floor. But the Fox shock's stuck right in there nicely. Probably gonna need to cut some more material out. I've just cut enough for now to get it down on the ground. So now we got the rear axle we're looking at. Again, this is a Sterling 10.5. Rear locker is a factory Ford E-locker for a 2012 and up F250, F350. Bolts right in. I think they're made by Eaton anyway, and they're half the price of any other aftermarket option. Yukon, Grizzly, and Eaton. ARB, those are all over $1,000. And I picked up this factory Ford from a dealership for like $550. So it's an E-locker. You're gonna have to drill into the housing and run like a cable gland out of it so that you can run some wires down into a connector. But other than that, it's good to go. All right, here we are under the Jeep looking at the front axle. And yes, we have a 4-link. This 4-link is a little different than what you would normally see. Normally the uppers are triangulated and the lowers are parallel to one another. And that's not the case here. We have triangulated lowers and parallel uppers. Reasoning for that is simply packaging. In order to accomplish it, I ended up adding a cross member. This is just some 2x4 rectangular tubing that we made up. Added some mounts to the unibody so we can bolt it in. And notched it out just to get a little more ground clearance in the middle here. I went with, as far as heims, these are the Barnes rebuildable heims. Enduro joints is what they call them. The most expensive option from Barnes, but again, I wanted to go with the robust, least amount of effort to put in type option. So we did that instead of heims. You can see the pinion looks like it's going to interfere, but these transfer cases are so high up. These transfer cases are so high up and flat to the belly that it actually has tons of room. At no point will these two actually interfere. No drive shaft would interfere with the transfer case. Super awesome, awesome, awesome. So, as far as the uppers, you can see they are mounted outboard of the unibody and actually kind of pointing inward on the axle. So I have a little bit of double triangulation. Okay. Transfer case is stock. I went with 538 gears in the axle. 538 gears with 40-inch tires actually equates to essentially stock gearing on 29-inch tires, like factory tires. So I don't expect a lot of stress on this transfer case. I do want to change out the Rezepa joint yoke thing on the front, and I may use this flange, or I might switch out to a U-joint. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so now we're kind of looking at the rear. The rear is a more traditional triangulated four-link, semi-triangulated four-link. Uppers are tucked up nice inside of the frame. Everything is plated. Everything has this plated backer on it. And then the lowers are on the bottom side of the frame, kind of hanging low. I might add a piece of flat steel here to help that angle a little bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. You can see where the old coilovers used to be. That's the old retainer, and you can see how I have Frenched in these shock towers. They are essentially flush to the back side of the frame, cut way out, and welded all around. Inside of there, up here is where the shock mounts from the factory, and there's a large chunk of plastic inside of there that's really gave me a run for my money trying to get it out. I think I have a piece of it somewhere, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so here's the piece that was in there. You can see it's been cut and melted, and I plasmaed over it, but it kind of went in here. I want to say something like this, and we had to hack that thing out of there. Right here's where your original shock would mount. That's your original upper, and then my original lower is gone. Didn't bother plating over it. There's steel in the way. Just hacked it out of the way for clearance. You may have noticed that there is no gas tank in here. I still have the original gas lines floating around, but right now the plan is to get a fuel cell and put that in the cargo area in the back. Rear suspension is a Fox 2.0 emulsion coilover, 16-inch travel. As far as springs, I chose a 200 weight over a 200 weight. So it's 200 over 200 in the rear. And the front is a 200 over 250. So when you look at it, the way it currently sits, it kind of looks like it has a little Carolina squat to it, a little squatted truck look. But when you measure it, everything is actually playing out pretty nicely. What's giving that appearance is the front fender clearance versus the rear fender clearance. And so in the front, I only really have to lop off this little corner to make everything happy. Okay, just that little bit. But the rear, you can see I have a Sharpie mark here as to where I need to go. And I've pushed the rear back as far as I really could. And you can see I'm getting into the door just ever so slightly. I wanted to maintain that factory seal. So by doing that and not cutting a whole lot out of the door, I had to push the rear back quite a bit. So you can see that line comes back here and even back to here, and I might end up comp cutting it right below the tail light here. As far as some initial specs, from the ground to the belly, we're looking at 25 inches. Approach angle, you can see for yourself. It's damn fine. I do have an at the helm front bumper, so that'll poke out a bit. I have a winch, but yeah, that's a very nice approach angle to have. As far as departure angle, also looking pretty good. I have a JK bumper that I modified to basically just skin over this factory bumper. We can go into that in more detail, but basically I took a aftermarket hitch and used that aftermarket hitch as a bumper mount. So it bolts right up to the frame, wraps around this here, and cleans it up nicely. So both front and rear bumper are definitely going to need some modification. Front's probably going to a stubby, going to cut off the wings on it, and then the rear, something semi-stubby probably. As of right now, my current bumper used to be about here. It wrapped around and tucked underneath the tail light nicely, and all that's going to have to go away. So that's a quick update for my Liberty, guys. It's been a long time coming. If you have anything you want to say about it, drop a comment below. But, this was supposed to be done back in August of 2022 before my first child showed up. I have another one on the way due in May of 2023. So that's my new goal. Get it done before May of 2023 so it can sit and not be played with. But at least it'll be done. There's a lot more to do. Drive shafts, for example, finishing up the steering, fuel tank, etc. But this is a big, big milestone for me, getting it down on its own weight. So if you aren't already, you should be subscribed to Daddy Jeep Garage to follow for the updates, plus all the other content he provides. So do him a favor, put a comment down below, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and thanks for watching.